Hi, this is Rebecca Smith with Help for Homeschool. You've probably heard it said that not all classrooms have four walls and not all learning occurs inside the classroom. I think this is a value that a lot of us have. I think we believe that experiences outside of formal education can be highly educational and valuable to our kids. However, we don't always feel like we have the freedom to have those experiences. If you are coming from a public school or a private school environment, it may be that your children really didn't have opportunities to do many field trips or many out of the classroom experiences. When I was a kid, we went on so many field trips. I vividly remember them. Going to see Peter Pan or going to the symphony, going to the science museum, going on a historic tour. I can really remember those 20, 30 years later. I remember those experiences. But now in schools, there are so many budgetary restrictions. Things are tight. And the pressure of testing, it doesn't feel like there's time to do those things that maybe we had the opportunity to do as a kid. And whenever you are coming from a public school environment as a homeschool parent, sometimes you feel so much pressure to get your book work done, to get the formal instruction done, that you put those activities and experiences to the wayside. They feel like they're not important, that they are just superfluous. They're the icing on the cake, and if you don't get to it, it is okay. However, I would really like to challenge the idea that these are just extra things that we do. And I would like to present the idea that these are highly valuable and maybe even some of the most important experiences that you give your kids. It is so important to make sure that your kids are learning what they need to learn and that you are checking the boxes and covering the subjects that need to be covered. However, I don't know about you, but I can't remember very many day-to-day lessons that I had in school. However, like I said, I remember those field trips. I remember those experiences. Those are the things that are going to really stick with our kids in the long run. And one of the benefits of homeschooling is having the time and flexibility to give our kids experiences that ignite their creativity, that make them excited, that make them want to learn more about what they're passionate about. When I teach my kids science, maybe we're studying animals, I can sit there and describe the different animals to them and they can be totally bored. Oh yeah, zebras, okay, lions, blah, birds. But if I take them to the zoo and we go see the lions and we see the gorillas and we go in the aquarium, they are so much more engaged and excited about those animals. I can spend 3 hours with them at the zoo and they're going to remember so much more than 3 weeks spent in a science textbook learning about those animals. Now, of course, right now with COVID, we are a little limited in some of those formal field trip opportunities. Things outside where I live seem to be readily available. This week I took my kids to the corn maze. They got to visit the farm part and see lots of animals. They got to pet a chicken. They got to see sunflowers. They got to ride on a hay ride and do all sorts of fun things. My big kids got to go maneuver the corn maze themselves and had a great time doing it. But formal field trips aren't the only extracurricular activities that are amazing for kids. Sometimes something as simple as spending some time in the library, going on a hike. We have a nature preserve near our house, and my kids have gone with my husband multiple times and have had such a great time experiencing nature and learning about different plants and seeing animals out there in their natural habitat. Sometimes just going in your backyard and picking up leaves, learning about the rocks that you found on a hike around your neighborhood. Things like that are so engaging to kids and can benefit them so much more than I think we give it credit for. Should you abandon your formal curriculum? No, I'm not saying that. And some people do. Some people unschool. But that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is don't forget to take the time for those sorts of activities. Don't neglect spending time outside, finding ways to engage your kids' creativity. One way that you can do this is to schedule a day of the week for those experiences. Many families do a 4-day school week where they do 4 days of formal learning, and then they take a day each week for those activities. They go to state parks, they go to local parks, they go to museums or zoos or local farms, or they just get together with other homeschoolers and they take the opportunity to engage their kids in exciting, fun activities outside of the classroom. Maybe you connect with a local field trip group. I have a local field trip group that we're a part of, and we're planning a couple, 2, 3, 4 activities a month. And trying to take time to do those can be really wonderful for your kids. The awesome thing about these activities too, especially the ones that aren't formal field trips, is they are not expensive. In fact, many of them are free. Going to your local park, going on a hike is a free activity. It's just the cost of gas and, maybe a sack lunch that you bring with you for your kids. These are not cost prohibitive, and really every family can take a part in those sorts of activities. I know that with COVID, it makes things a little bit more difficult. So I would like to offer this idea too. Maybe in your area, doing things outside is not available. Maybe the weather is not great, or you just don't have a lot of things that are open. Maybe your state is still pretty closed down. Aside from those outside, out of your house activities, don't neglect the value of things like documentaries and art lessons inside. Maybe you go to the dollar store and you grab some paints and canvases and watercolors and you spend the day painting and coloring with your kids. Maybe you look up some tutorials on drawing Minecraft figures and you do that together. What I'm really trying to say is, do not feel so overwhelmed and bogged down by your curriculum that you neglect igniting your kids' curiosity and having fun with them. What are some of your favorite activities that you have done with your kids outside of the textbooks? I would love to hear. I would love ideas. And I will post some ideas in the description below of things that we've done. Thank you so much for watching. Happy homeschooling. We're getting ready to go to
The corn maze!
the corn maze. Yay!